Hey everybody, Normal Punch here. Welcome to the Rivals A through 2 Beginner's Guide. I'm making this because I see a lot of people who seem confused by like what the basic mechanics of the game are, and there's not really like a solid source for all of that stuff yet. So this is just a guide for people who are unfamiliar with Rivals or maybe like platform fighters in general. We're going to be covering like setting up controls, what those controls do, and like what are your options in very basic situations. This is going to be like part one of a multi-part series. We'll get to more advanced stuff later, but this is like the bare basics to like get you started. But there still is quite a lot to cover, so let's get into it. Okay, so first thing we need to do is set up a tag to assign our controls to. So go ahead and press start or enter, and you should see a little menu pop up from there. So at the top you see we have player tag, and we have controls, etc. So ignore controls for now and just go to player tag. And you see I have a bunch set up already. So I'll just select the one that I have. Now we can change the controls to that. So if we go to controls, and then bindings, you should see jump, attack, strong, special, grab, shield, parry. This should be everything that you need, and you can swap those around however you want. So let's back out of that, and we'll actually give those controls a try. So go ahead and go to local, and we'll go to training. So if you press any buttons or move your stick, a little box should pop up to show that your controls work. So go ahead and pick a character. I'm gonna pick Browno. He's one of my favorites, kind of like Melee Chic, but you may or may not know what that means. So go ahead and select your tag. There's mine, and we'll hop right into training stage. Okay, so now that we are in training mode, we can go ahead and press some buttons and have our character move around, right? So we see he's moving, but I don't really know how he's moving yet. Like, how's the game registering these buttons that I'm mashing? So if we want to take a look at my inputs here, I'm using a GameCube controller. You don't have to use this, but it's the one I prefer. If we look over here at this stick on the left, this guy here, the game reads this as either a tilt or a tap. And a tilt can be a slow movement from center all the way to the edge, or a quick little movement that just doesn't go all the way to the edge. And a tap is from center to the edge quickly, right? And you can tap and hold, and that will change what your character is doing depending on your state. So our default state is going to be standing. And if we look here, we can tilt or tap downward, and that will make us crouch. If we're standing on a platform, we can crouch by a tilt, and if we tap, it doesn't make us crouch, it makes us fall through. Pretty basic stuff. So now that we're on the ground, we can try tilting and tapping. If we tilt, we can walk. Depending on the strength of the tilt, we'll change our walk speed. And we can tap it forward to do a little dash. Or we can tap and hold to run. And you can also crouch during a run. This will stop you in place. You can let go during a run too, but it's a little slower. So next in our movement, we have jumping. So if we press X or Y, depending on how your controls are set up, mine's for X, that will make us jump. And there are two basic jumps, a full hop, and we have a short hop. If we hold jump, we'll get a full hop. And if we tap it very quickly, we get a short hop. And there's also double jumping. So you can tap, jump in the air, but that's always the same height. There is no aerial short hop or full hop. It's always going to be the same height for a double jump. So if you notice that little spark while I'm falling, that is because I'm tapping down to fast fall. So this is a regular fall and a fast fall. And as far as movement goes, that's pretty much the basics. So next we'll work on offense. For offense, we are going to cover attacks and specials. So attacks and specials also follow the direction plus a button that we were doing earlier with like dashing. So if we don't hold anything, like the stick is completely neutral, and we press the attack button, we get a jab. It's very quick. And if we jab multiple times, we'll get like a jab combo. So we'll do 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So Rano has a step 4. Most characters only have up to the step 3. So next, we have holding a direction. We'll say walking, and then hitting the attack. That makes us tilt. So you can do that pretty quickly. You don't have to actually go into the walk state. But if you do it quickly, you'll get a strong. We'll cover that in a second. So for tilts, we have forward tilt, up tilt, and down tilt. And those can be used in a few different situations. One of them is standing, which we're doing now. And the other is when we're crouching. So if you have your controls set to where a button does tilts instead of like just using the stick, you can actually crouch and then like press up on the C stick or whatever to get like an up tilt really quick. But if you have it set to tap, you'll get like a strong like this. And speaking of strongs, so we have up strong, forward strong, down strong. But what if you're running? If you're running and try to do an attack, you'll do a dash attack. And this is usually good for like closing distance or getting like a little burst of speed before you hit someone. So next we're going to go to air attacks. So air attacks are a little different. They don't follow the similar rules of like tapping and holding or tilting. They're mostly just directions. So if we're in the air and we use the attack button, we'll do a neutral air, a back air, up air, down air, and forward air. So you have 5 of those total. And then that does vary depending on the character. Sometimes you get extra attacks in the air, like air strongs. But most characters, it follows those 5 attacks. Which brings us to specials. So you have 4 specials. You have neutral special, forward special, up special, and down special. Now, sometimes these will have like little follow-ups depending on the character, and sometimes they change in the air, but typically you have 4, and then like a follow-up. So after that, we will go on to defense. Okay, so now that we know how to hit, how do we avoid being hit? So with that, we have a shield. Now, shield is pretty similar to traditional blocking in like Street Fighter or, traditional fighting games. But your options are very limited, where in Street Fighter you can like block and immediately jab. In this, you only have about 6 things you can do. So from shield, we can hold shield. We can roll left or right. We can also spot dodge. We can jump out of shield. We can parry. So for our air defense, we don't have a lot. We have air dodge. When you air dodge, you have a little bit of invincibility on the startup of it. But then like you're punishable afterwards. But you can air dodge in different directions depending on what attack is coming at you. So if I want to air dodge up and away, back, or down, I can do that. I can also go diagonal in any direction. But you do have to keep in mind, if you're hit out of this air dodge, you don't get another air dodge back until you touch the ground or the ledge, which is this little guy right here, the corner of the stage. Okay, so now that we know how to stop attacks, how do we beat the thing that stops our attacks? If you see here, I'm hitting him and he's taking no damage. So what we need to do is grab. So to grab, you can press and hold shield and hit the attack button. That will make you grab. Or if you have it assigned to a button, you can just press that button to do the grab. So there's 4 different types of grabs in this game. So we have standing grab, we have shield grab. These two are basically identical except one's done from the shield. You also have dash grab, which is done while running, and you have pivot grab, which when you're running, you will hit the opposite direction and then the grab button. So it should look like this. So I essentially grab behind me. So what do we do, or what can we do once we have a grab? We have a few different options. We can grab them and hold them for a certain number of time. This will break. They don't have to mash. It's just a timer runs out, they're done. And that timer never changes. So if we want to actually hurt them, we can do one of 4 different throws. So we have up throw, down throw, forward throw, and back throw. And each of these are going to send at different strengths and different trajectories. And there's another layer to that. Before we throw, we get to choose one of 2 options. So if we have him and we hit attack, we'll do a normal pummel. And if we hit special, we'll do a special pummel. And if you noticed earlier, whenever I throw this character, he'll turn yellow. And that means he can't be re-grabbed until that yellow is gone. But if you do one of these pummels, that yellow goes away and he can be immediately grabbed once he's out of your hands. Like that. But if he has that yellow on him, I cannot re-grab. See, it'll do a break. The flip side of that is if they guess which one you're going to do, if they press special whenever you press special, or they press attack whenever you press attack, it'll just break the grab and they'll get out for free. So let's talk about what happens when you actually do get hit. If you take a look, I have 44% over my head and the opponent has 59%. So if I get hit, I'm going to get sent flying back. And this is primarily how you get KOs in platform fighters. It's not like Street Fighter where it goes down to 0. The higher this number is, the more knockback you're going to take. And then if you go off stage and off screen, there is essentially like a kill box down there that will just take a stock from you. So I talked about getting knocked back and getting knocked down. So whenever you get knocked back, that's just this state where you're flying through the air, right? And if you get knocked down, that is when you get hit and you hit either a platform or the stage. And you're stuck in this state where you're on your back. So this state is a really bad place to be in because you only have a few options available to you. So if you get hit and you do get knocked down, what can you do from here? So you can do a regular get up by pressing up on the C stick, or up on the directional stick. You can roll forward. You can roll backward. You can do a get up attack with the attack button, and a get up special with the special button. And those get up attacks and get up specials are going to change depending on like what character you use. For me, I make a little bubble and I jump up in the air to like avoid whatever follow-up is coming. So what happens if you don't want to hit the ground and be in that state? You do get one saving chance to hit the shield button before you hit the ground, and you'll do something called teching. And that looks like this. Okay? So for teching, it's usually a better situation to tech than it is to fall on your back into a knockdown situation. So what are the techs? So you just saw I teched in place. That is when I hit the shield right before hitting the ground, and I have no directional input on the left stick. But there's 2 others. There's forward, and there's back. So depending on the situation, you're going to want to mix those up because your opponent might predict which one you're going to use and punish the recovery on each of these. Because when you do these, it does make you safer, but not completely safe. Okay, so let's say that I get hit so far back that I'm not going to land on stage. What do I do in that situation? So from here, I can double jump and do up special to make it back to the ledge. Or back on stage if I have enough aerial height. So that is pretty much the basic way of getting back on. There's a few different options you can do. You can jump, air dodge up, and then up special, land on stage. You can jump and then wall jump, air dodge. So just a quick note about recoveries. So typically, you want to use up B for recovery, but some characters have a side special for recovery as well. However, both of these will put you into a state called free fall where you can do nothing afterward, like this. So I'm trying to jump again, I couldn't do anything. Same for here, trying to air dodge, jump, can't do anything. And if you do that while you're off stage, you just are helpless and will die. For some characters though, this side special you can actually wall jump out of. So if we go here and wall jump, then we can up B. And this is a really good way of stalling and mixing up your recovery so you don't just immediately go to ledge and someone snags it in front of you and you just fall to your death. So, very good for a lot of characters, but not every character has something like that. So we touched on the ledge a little bit in the recovery section. So what happened? What can we do once we get onto the ledge? Because our options are limited here, but we do have a few. So what we can do is we can hang on to the ledge for quite a while. We can also press forward toward the stage, and that'll make us do a regular get up. We can press jump to make us do a ledge jump. And that ledge jump is actionable, so you can do, pretty much whatever you want. You can jump and then attack. You can jump and then dodge, re-grab ledge. You can also attack from ledge. So if you do attack, you'll just do a ledge attack. And if you do special, you'll do a ledge special. You can also drop from the ledge. This is useful for when people are trying to hit your hands whenever you're on the ledge. And you can also let go of ledge, like that. And dropping from ledge is also immediately actionable too. So you can kind of stall here for a bit if you want. Whenever you let go of ledge, you're also immediately actionable too. So you can let go of ledge and then wall jump out and then recover that way too. So there's a lot of mix-ups that you have even when you're in this disadvantageous situation. So you're not completely helpless, but it is pretty bad to be stuck on ledge. And you do have to mix up your options to make sure you get back without dying. There is one more topic that we need to touch on, and it is in the defensive category, but it's a little bit more advanced than just holding shield. There's this mechanic called Directional Influence. So whenever you get hit and you hold a direction on your left stick, that will determine what direction and trajectory you're going to be flying. So if I hit his shield and he hits me and I do nothing, I'll go flying off stage, right? Pretty far. If I hold perpendicular to the angle that's going to send me, so it's sending me pretty much a 45 degree angle out. If I hold a 45 degree angle up and toward him, I'll be sent much less far and much more upward. And that is called survival DI. And on the flip side of that, there is one where you want to escape. So that's when you're hold away and down on a 45 degree angle knockback trajectory. So if you see there, I got basically put on stage. I didn't go very far because I DI'd into the stage. Now this is pretty advanced. It don't feel bad if you don't immediately get this, because this really relies on knowing what your opponent wants to hit you with and if they want to mix you up or not. Because different attacks will send you at different trajectories, and some of them you want to DI out, some of them you want to DI in, and if you guess wrong before you get hit, it can lead you to losing a stock very, very early. But that is the mix-up. The defense when you're on the back foot is you really want to learn how to DI moves before they hit you. And a lot of that comes with predicting what your opponent likes to do. That should give you a pretty basic rundown of everything you need to do to like get started. Like this is the baby steps. Now, when you take all of these mechanics, and there are a lot, and you combine them, you can really do a lot of stuff and like add creativity and really move around quickly in this game, which is just really great. And this is the main draw of the game, is this quick movement and how these mechanics all engage with one another. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'll be putting out more in the future. So yeah, subscribe, like, you know, the whole deal. Anyway, that's it for me, so I will see you guys next time.